This is the story of my '86 AMC Eagle. I first got the car when I was 12 years old. Some pictures of it when I first got it home. And for that first, several months it sat. Got it in December or November, and it didn't start working on it until September or October of the following year. Here was the parts car. Got the car because it needed an engine. Here it is in progress. You can see I've got the hood off. And then I posted it for sale. Here are some pictures I took after putting the ad together. Got it running and driving and sold it. And then here we have just some playing out in the snow quick before I sold it. Got the space, might as well play. And then this is actually the video of the car going away after I sold it. The car ended up going to Pennsylvania. And, like anytime you sell a car and it goes across the country, you assume it's probably going to be the last time you see it.
I don't know if he's ever driven anything with a carburetor before.
Probably not.
It, in fact, wasn't the last time I would see the car, though. I got a message from the person I bought it from either 2 or 3 years after I sold it to him. I sold the car, this was 2018 when I sold it, 2021 when he messaged me, so just shy of 3 years, and offered it back to me because I posted on Facebook wanting to keep track of the car. So he said he would sell it, so I got the car back. Here it is with my Comanche that I actually sold the Eagle to buy this Comanche, and we started working on it. I did an add-a-leaf in the rear, so you can see here. Here it's up on the hoist and getting a gas tank right next to my brother's J10. It got an HEI ignition and motor shaft carburetor upgrade. It really woke the thing up. I really recommend that. And here we've got just a picture of that HEI and that motor craft. Throttle response was improved and horsepower was improved, both greatly. And then it sat, because I bought new tires for it, but they didn't clear in the front. You can see I took one of the fender flares off to get some tire clearance, and it wasn't going to be a daily driver, so I wasn't worried about it. But then I did ball joint spacers to get the front end up, which you can see here. And in late 2021, I got it back on the road. Here it is, some pictures with my Comanche. And I drove this car through the winter of 2021 into 2022. And that December of 21, I drove it around with a Christmas tree on the roof. It got a lot of looks, and I still get compliments on it to this day. Now, being a four-wheel drive station wagon, winter was no big deal for it. And you can see here, I wasn't afraid to go play in it by the slush all in the wheels, and here's some pictures in our yard when I just played off-road and took some pictures with it. And this was later that winter. This was just one afternoon of snow. We got about 3 inches. This is the car where I got it from a few years before I got it. And this car even hauled stuff to my graduation party because it's an old car, but it doesn't get a free ride. Here it is in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I actually drove the Comanche, and my parents hauled the Eagle there for the 2022 AMC Homecoming show. This is it in front of Lake Michigan with the Comanche. Very cool experience. I'm hoping I can go back in 25. This is outside Alfano Performance in Kenosha. And here we are at the fairgrounds again. In 2023 rather, I needed to use it to help a friend move some stuff, so stuff went on the hood and roof. The seat picture in this picture is actually it getting some more interior pieces that it needed. In 2023, it also needed some floor work. Well, it needed floor work before that. I just got around to it in 2023. Just driver and passenger pans needed work. This is what I've got cut out of the driver's side floor pan. Welded new metal in, and then put chassis saver over the top of it. Then, because I had the carpet out and the old carpet was not good, threw in a new Auto Custom Carpets carpet kit, which turned out really well. And here's the rear seat area as well. Bought the floor mats for it too. And later that year, this car got a Chrysler 8 1/4 rear end with 355 gears to upgrade over the old 273s. Did make the car sit a little bit higher in the rear, and then I did re-gear the front end to match. Here we are playing off-road with it.
Beautiful.
What? No, we can walk. Front's not spinning.
There's a tree there.
That's so fast. People just get dizzy watching the video.
Keep going. Okay, straight down. You come back up. No.
And now, this was actually a couple weeks after those videos. We went on a wheeling trip because the car did so good in the little bit of woods we have around our house. So my car was there. There was a Jeep JK Wrangler on 37s, my mother's Jeep JK on 35s, and my brother's Jeep J10 pickup on 33s, and I have little 28s. But the car held its own. I did damage the door, which we'll see later, and I did need a winch, but overall, the car did pretty darn well. Here we are going through a rock garden. You can see the J10 moving up there. And then it was the Eagle's turn,
Oh, gouging the wheel.
and that's where I hit the door. Just got some pictures here of it up in the woods. Found a little bit of mud hole to play in. I don't love mud, but I got peer pressured into running through the mud hole. Mud's fine, just it's not as fun to clean it up. Here we've got, so that mud hole was just off of a little dirt track, but it was on his property. Me and my brother in the orange J10 and I am making some laps. That J10's got a 350 small block Chevy on a K5 Blazer chassis. And my Eagle just has the stock 4.2 with, at best, 110 horsepower when it was new. So that J truck just ran away. And this 258 here in these videos is pretty worn out. Only 100 and some thousand miles on it, but it was tired.
You're gonna like this, Bob.
And that black Jeep there is the person's property who we were wheeling on. It was a great experience to get out there and actually drive on some trails. And that purple Wrangler that you see in some of these is my mother's Jeep. That was bought, wrecked, and then repaired. Here we are on that same property doing a little bit more wheeling. This was a pretty steep hill. Actually, the camera does a surprisingly good job doing it justice how steep it was, but that car will just climb. And it's open diffs, and at this point it had the stock NP128 transfer case. We've got more on the racetrack. This is going through the mud hole. But I'll tell you more about that transfer case. So I had open differentials in the axles, but this NP128, the first digit, the 1, means that it's a single-speed transfer case. It only has high range. And the 128s, 86 is the only year for the NP128 and Eagle, and those also work as an open diff. So from my understanding, if you have one tire on one of the axles spinning with an NP128, you're not going anywhere, or if you are, it's going to be very slowly. So when you consider that, it's a miracle that this car did what it did. And we've got that J10 going up that same hill that just saw the Eagle going up before the mudding video. Some of these are a little out of order. It's just the order they ended up in my camera roll, I guess. Yeah, you can see that thing's really short, even for a short bed J10. That's because it's on a K5 Blazer chassis, bone stock K5 Blazer chassis. It had a factory rear locker. It's a 350 and 700 R4, and that thing will go just about anywhere. It's very impressive. Yeah, unfortunately, with that independent front suspension in the Eagle, and I had the sway bar hooked up, don't really have a ton of flex in the front, but that rear end has surprisingly good travel considering I did an add-a-leaf, and it's a fairly stiff leaf spring. Got a picture of it going up. This was just to get up out of the trails here, I believe. So nothing too crazy of a hill. Here we've got the video of the car going up.
The thing on camera is just not near as bad as it is in person.
I mean, for what this car did, for being mostly stock, it's got about a 2-inch lift and all-terrain tires in these videos. And carburetor in this video. But it's a mostly stock Eagle that was able to keep up with some pretty capable other rigs, like, when you think about it. The next smallest tires were 33s. Everybody else had at least a limited slip. Most people had, the purple Jeep was the only one with a limited slip, Everything else had at least one locker.
You're fine.
Here it is going up. Another door. I was getting some coaching on what I needed to do.
I didn't think that he needed the fucking balls to the wall.
Right.
Get up there, kid.
That thing is just crazy.
Here we've got a picture, and then another video of it wheeling. Just this does a good job showing like how tight some of those trails were. This was me trying to turn around for that real steep hill.
Get out and watch, Adrian. Hey.
And here we've got a picture of a dry creek crossing we had to do. Another picture of it. And here we have the video of that creek crossing. Now, I went way far to the left to not be dragging the hitch like the J10 just did. I was able to clear it. And I went far right out of here so I would be able to make it up all right where it was a little bit less steep. This was a fun one here. I believe this was another creek crossing. You can see the J10 had just gone through it. And I'll be quiet here so you can listen to the smack and going through it.
You're gonna like this next part, Adrian.
Yeah?
You're gonna get out and have to help that AMC.
Give her!
So if you were listening real close, you could actually probably hear two smacks. That's because I smacked both the front and rear bumpers of the car because it was such a steep gully. And then this hill, if you look really closely, and the picture was earlier in the video too, I actually catch air at the top of this hill because it was steep and there was a little ledge at the top, and I don't have low Ranger lockers. So, throttle is the solution. And actually, one of those new Jeep Gladiator Rubicons wasn't able to make it up that hill, so it was kind of unfortunate. And it wasn't a skill issue either. I have way less wheeling experience than the guy with that Gladiator. It was just a combination of wheelbase and tires, I guess. Going through some more rocks right here. This is actually where I got stuck. You can see that left rear will start to spin because I caught the differential there on a rock.
Uh-oh. I think he's gonna need a little shove. Back it up. He might be hung up.
We've got some more pictures in the rocks here. I was all over the place trying to avoid the big rocks just because I don't have the ground clearance that the other Jeeps had. But the Eagle really did do a good job holding its own. You can see here the trails were pretty rough, like if you watch that J10 especially bouncing over stuff. Of course that's on leaf springs, but it still does a good job showing
Hold your hands
what
on
it
the
felt
dash
like in the car.
just to show how rough it is.
Whoops, I don't know what I just did there. Well, that's what I was gonna do. I'm like, well, that's never gonna work. Oh, there he's... Camden's more busy worried about what Carter's doing.
Here I had to kind of climb up a rock with the left side, and I ended up hitting it and sliding into it more with the left rear, which I wasn't really hoping to do, but
Over the big one?
I didn't hurt the wheel at all, which I was a little bit worried about. And just didn't have quite enough room, and I didn't line it up quite right to be able to go around it on the right-hand side. Some more pictures of that wheeling adventure. It's a good time. Going down the hill to go get down to the trails. This was at the beginning of the day. Another picture, you can just see the Eagle taillights there in the trees. Then going up a steep hill. Got another angle of going up that hill, so that's crooked.
I made the arms high.
Next part's gonna be tough. Stay on her.
Oh, I keep clicking the picture button on this, and then I get my ducks.
Now we'll start our damage report. This was after the mud, and you can see that Eagle got absolutely filthy. We did have the windows up before going through the mud, though, so I didn't have to do too much cleaning on the interior, but it was a little bit dusty. I'll take that over mud any day. And then when we got home, it was just dripping mud. It was crazy. Ended up nicking the bottom of the bumper guard. Oh, more just dripping mud. Just does a good job showing just how filthy the car was. I did damage the right rear door on that rock, and you can see where I got that fender flare too. Shows a lot better and looks a lot worse when I got the car cleaned. Here I was cleaning it, pressure washing that underside so it'd get the whole car in the air. And this was the engine after I put a new air cleaner on it. And had a little bit of frame rust to fix. This was up by the steering box. Welded in some new metal. And then cleaned all the rust and painted over it with chassis saber. This was once I put in an NP231J. This is what you find in Cherokees, Comanches, Wrangler YJs, Wrangler TJs from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Like the 2 means it's high and low range, but unfortunately I did lose the ability to go get all-wheel drive. This was our custom shifter bezel because we had to cut some of the floor out to make it fit. And I bought UTV tires for the next time we went wheeling. Because I got some crap for having some worn out old all-terrains on the last time. Here we are doing some more testing on it. This was after I got those. This is after low range, and this is with those UTV tires on. In the same spots in the woods where I did wheeling earlier this video. Now this was a spot I thought I was going to be able to make it down.
You're clear over here.
But I just wasn't going to be able to get the right angle and without wiping out the whole right side of the car.
Now you're not. Hold on. Back up. Stop! Stop! God.
And now here I am going up that same hill. I just didn't have the angle to make it down. This was actually the first time a vehicle has driven up this hill. We've had a couple of times where like we would go up and down it on ATVs, but never a vehicle. In fact, my brother in his J10 tried this after me with it. did make it also. This was the first car to make it up that though. It's just really narrow, too narrow for a full size like that J10. Just slowly crawling on out. There's a log here, which is why I was stopped. Had to back up, get a little bit better angle. It's tight up in here. Like, we don't have any trees cut down for the trails. We just have gaps between the trees that are wide enough for vehicles. I'm trying to go slow because it's our pole barn on the other side of that and don't want to accidentally come out there with too much speed and not be able to get it slowed up before hitting the shop. Here we've got another angle of that really steep hill that I couldn't make it down, but I was able to drive up. And I did need 2 attempts on it the first couple of times. But that was my unwillingness to use throttle because it was tight. I really didn't want to go bounce the car off of a tree. But it made it. Some other little trails we had. And I found a great deal on another 258 locally, so I used the car to go pick it up. Got that new engine, pressure washed it, had a beautiful sunset that night. Here we have like this casting information. I actually found out that this engine came out of an 84 Jeep. I would assume CJ7. You can tell it's a Jeep because of the oil pan. The AMC cars had a different oil pan from the Eagles, and which had a different oil pan from the CJ. So you need to use the Eagle oil pan and Eagle oil pump pickup in the engine. So I cleaned the engine up, new gaskets, the sort. Seems like it's about an 80,000 mile engine. Ordered an aluminum valve cover because from the factory these had plastic covers which are just notorious for leaking. Pressure washed the engine bay. It's all original paint under there. Pretty nice. Did have some rust. I did get that fixed. Unfortunately, didn't take any pictures of it. Here the engine is coming out of the car. Sandblasted the valve cover because they had some heavy-duty powder coating on that. Ended up sandblasting the entire engine too, so paint would stick well. And I used an acrylic enamel single stage in a color close to AMC blue. It's actually a Mitsubishi color. I've got the pictures of the specs at the end if anybody wants to copy that. And then it went back in. Now this car came in Friday after work, and I had it back on the road the following Monday. So there the engine swap is all done, and man, that blue really pops in that engine bay. And here we've got the paint. Thank you for watching.